As of this morning, the United States is applying a 25% tariff on imports of steel and aluminum. We deeply regret this measure. Tariffs are taxes. They are bad for business and worse for consumers. They are disrupting supply chains.
A dramatic shift in international trade relations has emerged, marking a new chapter in the global electric vehicle market and reshaping the geopolitical dynamics surrounding the automotive industry. The move, announced by the European Union and Canada, imposes a staggering 100% tariff on electric vehicles manufactured in the United States. This unexpected policy change has sent ripples across continents, especially when combined with the startling announcement by the newly elected United States President Donald Trump that tariffs will be levied on several of America's trade partners. The decision has jolted influential industry figures, notably Elon Musk, whose enterprise has become synonymous with innovation in electric mobility. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. The tariff imposition by the EU and Canada is more than a mere economic maneuver. It is a statement of intent that seeks to redefine the rules of engagement in international trade. By imposing a complete tariff on American-made electric vehicles, these regions are aiming to protect their domestic industries and reinforce their commitment to sustainability. The electric vehicle market has experienced explosive growth over the past decade, driven by both technological advancements and an increasing awareness of environmental issues. However, as American companies gained prominence and began capturing a larger share of the market, concerns about trade imbalances and industrial dominance came to the forefront. The decision by the EU and Canada can be seen as an effort to reassert control over a sector that is rapidly evolving, ensuring that the balance of power is not tipped overwhelmingly in favor of one economic bloc. In tandem with these developments, the tariff announcement from the United States introduces an additional layer of complexity to the situation. The newly elected president's declaration of tariffs on trade partners signals a broader protectionist agenda that aims to shield domestic industries from what is perceived as unfair competition. This policy shift reflects a deep-seated skepticism of global trade agreements and a desire to reconfigure America's economic relationships in a way that favors national interests. The juxtaposition of these decisions has created a volatile environment where retaliatory measures and escalating trade tensions could become the norm. The international community now finds itself navigating uncharted waters as traditional alliances and trade routes are re-examined in light of this new reality. The implications of these tariff policies are profound and multifaceted. Economically, the tariffs could significantly alter market dynamics by increasing the cost of electric vehicles in key markets. For consumers in the European Union and Canada, the price of American-made electric vehicles is set to double almost overnight, which could potentially reduce demand and shift consumer preferences towards domestically produced alternatives or vehicles from countries not subject to such punitive measures. This price shock is not limited to the automotive sector alone. It reverberates throughout supply chains that have long been interdependent across borders. Components, manufacturing processes, and logistical networks that rely on the seamless flow of goods across continents may face disruptions, leading to delays and increased costs for a range of products beyond just electric vehicles. For American manufacturers, the imposition of a 100% tariff represents a severe blow to market access. The United States has invested heavily in research and development within the electric vehicle space, channeling significant resources into innovative technologies and sustainable manufacturing practices. Companies like Tesla have not only pushed the boundaries of what electric vehicles can achieve, but have also redefined the consumer experience in the automobile sector. With these tariffs in place, the ability of American firms to compete on the global stage becomes severely compromised, forcing them to reassess strategies and consider either absorbing the extra costs or seeking alternative markets. The decision sends a clear signal to investors and market analysts that the landscape of international trade is rapidly changing, and adaptation is necessary to maintain competitiveness. The political overtones of these tariff decisions cannot be understated. Trade policies are often wielded as tools of national policy, and the recent announcements are no exception. The EU and Canada's move is partly driven by a desire to assert their own economic sovereignty, particularly in a time when globalization is being re-evaluated by many nations. By imposing such steep tariffs, these regions are not only protecting their industries, but also challenging the perceived hegemony of the United States in setting the rules for international trade. The backlash from this decision has been immediate and far-reaching, affecting diplomatic relations and prompting debates about the future of free trade. The tariff regime, as it stands, raises questions about the stability of long-standing trade agreements and the possibility of a broader economic conflict that could undermine decades of global economic integration. Simultaneously, the president's tariff announcement introduces a dual-edged challenge. On one hand, it is designed to safeguard American jobs and promote domestic manufacturing by discouraging imports. On the other hand, it risks igniting a cycle of retaliatory measures from key trade partners, potentially leading to a tit-for-tat escalation that could spiral into a full-blown trade war. The shock expressed by industry titans, including Elon Musk, underscores the seriousness of the situation. Musk's reaction is emblematic of a broader unease within the technology and manufacturing sectors, where the intricate interdependencies of global supply chains are both a strength and a vulnerability. The prospect of a fractured international market where products and services are subjected to arbitrary tariffs could stifle innovation and limit the benefits of economies of scale. Beyond the immediate economic repercussions, the geopolitical implications of these tariffs are equally significant. The decisions signal a shift away from the era of liberalized trade and toward a more protectionist and nationally focused economic order. Such a shift has the potential to reshape alliances and reorient the strategic priorities of nations. For the European Union, the move may represent an effort to bolster its position as a champion of sustainable technology and environmental stewardship, reinforcing policies that promote green energy and innovation. For Canada, it is an affirmation of its commitment to protecting domestic industries while asserting its independence in the face of American economic influence. The interplay between these policies and the broader trends in international relations will likely become a defining feature of global politics in the coming years. From an industry perspective, the tariffs are poised to disrupt the carefully calibrated balance of power within the electric vehicle market. American firms have built a reputation for pushing the envelope in terms of performance, range, and technological integration. This reputation, however, is now at risk as markets that once embraced these vehicles become less accessible due to prohibitive tariffs. The ripple effects could be felt in research and development investments, as companies might divert resources to regions with more favorable trade terms. Moreover, the tariffs could compel American manufacturers to rethink their supply chain strategies, potentially leading to a greater emphasis on regional production facilities and local sourcing of components. Such a shift would not only impact operational efficiencies, but could also lead to a fragmentation of the global supply chain, with long-term consequences for innovation and competitive advantage. The shock experienced by Elon Musk is particularly noteworthy given his status as a symbol of American ingenuity and the driving force behind one of the most dynamic sectors in modern industry. Musk's companies have long been at the forefront of pushing boundaries, and his reaction to the tariffs reflects the deep uncertainties that such measures introduce into an already volatile market. The intersection of technology, environmental policy, and international trade has never been more pronounced, and Musk's concerns are shared by many who see the potential for these tariffs to disrupt not only economic growth, but also the progress towards sustainable transportation. The uncertainty has the potential to affect investor confidence and may slow down the momentum of technological advancements, as companies navigate an environment where policy changes can have immediate and unpredictable impacts on market dynamics. The broader economic narrative is one of tension between protectionism and globalization. On one side, there is the undeniable allure of protecting domestic industries, preserving jobs, and ensuring that national interests are prioritized. On the other side, the benefits of open markets, the free flow of capital, and the interconnectedness of global supply chains have been critical drivers of technological innovation and economic growth. The current situation forces a reckoning between these competing imperatives. Economists and policy analysts are now tasked with evaluating whether the short-term gains of protecting domestic markets can justify the potential long-term costs of a fragmented global economy. The electric vehicle sector, already characterized by rapid change and fierce competition, is now the stage upon which these debates are being played out, with the future of mobility and sustainability hanging in the balance. For consumers, the imposition of such tariffs could have a direct impact on purchasing decisions. The sharp increase in prices for American-made electric vehicles means that individuals and families looking to transition to cleaner forms of transportation might find themselves priced out of the market. This scenario could inadvertently stifle the broader adoption of electric vehicles, a development that runs counter to global efforts to reduce carbon emissions and combat climate change. The tariffs, by making sustainable transportation more expensive, could slow the momentum of a market that is seen as essential for achieving long-term environmental goals. In this context, the policy decisions being made today are not just about economics. They are about the future of energy, the environment, and the quality of life for future generations. In the midst of these sweeping policy shifts, the question of technological innovation looms large. The electric vehicle industry has been a beacon of progress, demonstrating what is possible when technology, environmental consciousness, and entrepreneurial spirit converge. The recent tariff measures risk creating an environment where innovation is hampered by economic uncertainty and geopolitical strife. Companies may be forced to redirect their focus from long-term research and development projects to short-term survival strategies, a shift that could have lasting implications for the pace of technological advancement. The ripple effects of such a slowdown would extend far beyond the automotive sector, potentially affecting a wide range of industries that depend on breakthroughs in energy storage, battery technology, and sustainable manufacturing practices. The international community is now confronted with a set of policy choices that have the potential to redefine the future of global trade and innovation. The actions taken by the EU, Canada, and the United States represent a departure from the collaborative spirit that once underpinned international commerce. Instead, the current landscape is marked by suspicion, competition, and a reassertion of national interests. As each side seeks to protect its own industries and strategic assets, the potential for conflict escalates. The tariffs are not isolated policy decisions. They are part of a broader narrative in which nations are increasingly willing to take bold steps to safeguard their economic futures, even if those steps risk destabilizing long-standing trade relationships. Industry leaders now face the formidable challenge of navigating this new terrain. The need for strategic agility has never been more apparent as companies attempt to balance the demands of innovation with the constraints imposed by shifting policy environments. Firms that have long relied on global supply chains must now consider the benefits of regionalization, weighing the advantages of local production against the cost efficiencies of scale. This strategic pivot is fraught with challenges, as it requires a fundamental rethinking of established business models and operational practices. The transition, if it occurs, is likely to be gradual and fraught with obstacles as companies adapt to an environment where uncertainty is the only constant. The policy shifts also have significant ramifications for international diplomacy. Trade is not merely an economic activity. It is a vehicle for building and sustaining alliances. The tariffs serve as a stark reminder that economic interests often take precedence over diplomatic niceties, and that the pursuit of national interests can lead to abrupt changes in long-standing relationships. The decisions made by the EU, Canada, and the United States could set a precedent for future policy actions, encouraging other nations to adopt similar protectionist measures when they perceive that their own industries are under threat. This trend, if it gains momentum, could undermine the multilateral institutions and trade agreements that have helped to maintain global economic stability for decades. In this evolving landscape, the interplay between domestic politics and international economics is more pronounced than ever. The newly elected president's decision to impose tariffs on trade partners is not merely an economic maneuver. It is a political statement that resonates with a significant portion of the American electorate. The rhetoric of America First finds a powerful expression in these policies, which are designed to prioritize national interests above the interconnected dynamics of the global market. Yet, this stance carries inherent risks. The backlash from key allies and trade partners could lead to retaliatory measures that harm American industries, creating a cycle of economic disruption that is difficult to break. The tension between populist economic nationalism and the demands of a globalized economy is now at the forefront of political discourse, with far-reaching implications for both domestic policy and international relations. The complexities of the situation extend to the realm of innovation and market competition. The electric vehicle sector is characterized by rapid technological evolution and fierce rivalry, and the imposition of tariffs introduces an additional layer of uncertainty into an already competitive environment. Companies that once thrived on the promise of technological breakthroughs and market expansion now find themselves facing a landscape where economic barriers and policy restrictions may stifle progress. The uncertainty surrounding trade policies has the potential to dampen investment in research and development, as firms become more cautious in committing resources to projects that may face unforeseen challenges in the global market. This cautious approach, while understandable in the current environment, could slow the pace of innovation at a time when breakthroughs in energy efficiency and sustainable transportation are most needed. The response from the business community has been one of guarded concern. Industry analysts and economists are closely monitoring the developments, trying to assess the long-term impacts of these drastic policy measures. The consensus among experts is that while short-term disruptions are almost inevitable, the long-term consequences could be even more significant if the trend toward protectionism continues unchecked. The electric vehicle market, which once symbolized a future powered by clean energy and technological progress, now stands at a crossroads. The decisions made in this moment will likely shape the trajectory of the industry for years to come, influencing everything from consumer behavior and market competition to international diplomacy and the very nature of global trade. The broader economic and political implications of these tariffs are difficult to overstate. They serve as a reminder that trade policies are not static. They evolve in response to shifting geopolitical realities and domestic pressures. The actions taken by the EU, Canada, and the United States are part of a larger narrative in which nations are increasingly willing to challenge the status quo in pursuit of their own strategic interests. In doing so, they are redefining the boundaries of international cooperation and setting the stage for a future in which economic self-interest takes precedence over the collaborative spirit that once characterized global commerce. This shift has the potential to alter the global economic landscape in profound ways, as nations grapple with the dual imperatives of protecting domestic industries and maintaining the benefits of open markets. As the situation continues to unfold, the interplay between policy, technology, and market dynamics will be closely scrutinized by stakeholders at every level. The electric vehicle market, a bellwether for broader trends in sustainability and technological innovation, is now at the heart of a geopolitical struggle that extends far beyond the confines of the automotive industry. The decisions made today are a reflection of deeper currents that have been building for years. A growing skepticism about the benefits of globalization, a renewed focus on national sovereignty, and a recognition that the world is entering a period of economic uncertainty and political volatility. In this context, the imposition of tariffs is not simply an isolated policy decision. It is a manifestation of broader ideological and economic debates that will shape the future of international trade. The shock experienced by influential figures in the industry, including Elon Musk, is emblematic of the challenges that lie ahead. The electric vehicle market has long been a symbol of American innovation and technological prowess, and the imposition of such punitive tariffs raises fundamental questions about the sustainability of this model in a rapidly changing global economy. Musk's reaction underscores the vulnerability of industries that have thrived on global collaboration and free trade, and it serves as a cautionary tale for other sectors that may soon find themselves caught in a similar web of protectionist policies and geopolitical rivalries. The long-term implications of these developments will likely extend well beyond the immediate disruptions in the automotive market, influencing how technology companies, energy firms, and even traditional manufacturers approach the global market in the years to come. The economic calculus behind these tariff policies is both complex and multifaceted. On one level, The measures are designed to create a more level playing field for domestic industries by eliminating what is perceived as unfair competition from American manufacturers. On another level, they reflect a deep-seated mistrust of the mechanisms of global trade, where the benefits of scale and specialization are increasingly being overshadowed by concerns about national security and economic sovereignty. The resulting tension between the ideals of free trade and the realities of economic protectionism is a defining feature of this new era, and it is a dynamic that will continue to shape policy decisions and market strategies for the foreseeable future. As nations seek to recalibrate their economic relationships, the potential for conflict and for opportunity remains high. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on the EU and Canada imposing 100% tariffs on US EVs? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching and see you next time.